I believe I'm going to end up playing the Necromancer because it's going to be quite new. It's a bit of an underdog now, but we get some pretty cool toys. See, this is Minion Druid. This is a Minion Druid. I think I deleted a Minion Druid. Yeah. Basically, the 3 build guides I made, they're on YouTube if you guys haven't seen them. I think they're pretty successful in delivering the idea of each build. So we got the what is it again? Shade Mist Summoner, which is a Necromancer. We have the Companion Druid, and we have the Meteor cooldown spamming Sorc. I think I'm going to play Necromancer. Going in, I was almost certain I was going to play Companion Druid, but after I went through all the different Companion Druid options, I realized that the best Companion Druid skill setup is one I have already played to level 100 in Season 3. So I'm just not that motivated to play. I mean, it's going to be way stronger, but it's effectively going to be the same. I started with Sorc and abandoned it. The Sorc build, it's pretty spammy. People ask for like gameplay footage. Fair commentary. So this is Makuna. He's like really good Sorc. He just plays Sorc constantly. And he made a Meteor build. It's not like super well put together, but the macro version of the build is well put together. Like, I think he missed out on a number of details. Nothing major. The macro version of the build is really good. So this is what it looks like. You see how the meteors are big and they're overlapping? He has the temper to make meteor bigger. That's why it's doing that. But the new Starfall Coronet also has that affix. So you see how the meteors, they're still like not totally grouped? I would say that about 70% of meteor hits are hitting single target. Like if you look in the middle, yes, they all hit, but like that one was over there, that one was over there. And not all the mobs are exactly in the middle, and Meteor has a little bit of a delay. So I think with another like 50 Meteor area, it's going to go from 70% for full overlap to 100% for full overlap. So that's like 50% more damage. Meteor's also just doing 20% more damage. They buffed Int to be 25% more damage. They buffed a whole bunch of passives for just more damage. The Starfall Coronet has a 4-second meteor, so you can see his meteor there. It's kind of spamming, but it is on cooldown occasionally. He's not able to fully spam it. He's just short. Going from 6 seconds to 4 seconds, you're literally going to spam meteor. Okay. And the core of the build is this, basically. It's just the way that I put it together, it also has much more ice blades. So when he's going to go single target, it's not going to look like this. But with more ice blade investments, it might actually look like this single target. So it'll be much better single target. Because like he was on the boss for like 5 minutes. Actually, it looks pretty good on the boss. Oh, this is a boss with ads. Okay. Yeah, that's why. Well, if you get a boss that doesn't have ads, it won't look like this. we are also using the Fists of Fate, which is 50% more damage. And you can get lucky hit to like 100, so you're going to get way more meteor procs. So you're actually just going to chain meteors a whole bunch. It's basically this build, except it's way more damage, way more area coverage for clear. It's way faster. It has more defenses, not way more, but it has more defenses. And it has way faster cooldown recovery. So you can, like, you see all his things are on cooldown there for a second. But yeah, even better than that. Just everything is better. And this is a good build. This is 120 pit. That's a big number. Okay. So everything is better. And they nerf the crap out of boss HP. So you can see the boss takes him like 5 minutes, but the trash he clears like pretty well. They're nerfing boss HP by like a factor of like 8 or something. So yeah, so it took him like 520, 13. It took him 8 minutes to kill the boss, so it'll take him 1 minute if it was the same character. But it's not going to be the same character. It's going to be much, much stronger in every single aspect. So you're going to kill a boss in 30 seconds on pit 120, right? So it's kind of like guaranteed to be a good build. It's really fun to do Coronet Meteors. It's a very fast build. I think it might be one of the best Sorc builds next patch. I can't say that with like 100% confidence because a lot of stuff on the PTR was bugged, and they changed a bunch of stuff on top of that, and some of the stuff they changed they won't even tell us the details of. And just because they addressed the bugs that people found on the PTR, it doesn't mean they addressed all of them. It doesn't mean there's no new bugs. And let's be frank, the best build in every single season has been one that has been crazy bugged. So I'm not going to tell you guys Meteor Sorcerer's going to be the best Sorc in the game. Most likely, it's going to be some bullshit interaction with some giga bug that's going to be new from the last PTR. Okay, that's the best Sorc build. What that's actually going to be, I have no idea. But in terms of like non-bugged builds, the only build that I think might be stronger is the Chain Lightning. They made a bunch of like uniques and mechanics for Chain Lightning, but on the PTR, all that crap was bugged. So obviously they're going to fix it, but again, we don't really know. We don't know how bugged it's still going to be. We don't know if there's new bugs, and we don't know exactly the tuning because they're going to have to redo everything because it was bugged. So I think the only Sorc build that might be better is Chain Lightning. But there's absolutely no way to know for sure. You just can't know. The Druid build is going to be pretty good. Like, I'll show you guys here. So this character is like level 94. The glyphs are nowhere near leveled. I don't have gems. I'm literally not wearing a helmet. And keep in mind, helmet is where you get plus wolf skills. So it's not like I'm missing a little bit of armor. I'm missing like a pretty large damage multiplier. Potentially 2 large damage multipliers. Right, so this character is like pretty scuffed, okay? Okay. There. Like, just sitting here, it's like 10 million DPS. And then if you do Wolf button, it's hard to see because they attack really fast, but if they all crit, the Wolf button is about 20 million. There was a 9 million from one of them, so there's 3 wolves. So what's different next patch? So you can have 3 more wolves. So that's times 2. This aspect didn't exist before. And you can have 12 minions. You put it on an amulet, it triples your damage. So that's like almost triple. So that's like times 5. They generally buffed a few of the little things. Gear in general is a little bit stronger. And druids, because they only have 1 weapon, they get a willpower multiplier, so they get 25% more effect from willpower. So you're going to get about times 6.5 damage just from that. Any kind of power the seasonal mechanic unlocks, any kind of crap like that. And it's like times 6.5 with this character. Like just this character. Like this button hits for 20 million. So you're going to have a scuffed character like this one next season, tomorrow. And when you press the wolf button, it's going to do like 140 million damage on a character that looks like this at level 94. Okay. So people are really sleeping on this, and a few of the companion builds that I've seen, they're just not made well. But they're not made well because no one is stupid enough to play Companion Druid. Except me. I've been playing Companion Druid for the last 3 seasons. So, yeah. This is the setup that you want. And that was without Petrify. So actually, you can probably do like a 200 million burst in like 2 seconds. At level 94 with this, basically. Garbage. So it's going to be insane. The downside is that the Druid doesn't have quite as much sustain as the Necro. It's still really good. It's not like not tanky. The only real downside is AoE damage. So with AoE damage, how it works is they just single target the mobs anyway. But the difference is that when you multiply their damage by like 6.5, they're basically just going to one-shot everything in every single hit. So it's not going to be that painful. It's going to be like slap, 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 slap. It's just not going to be like use big area ability, kill 40 monsters. It's not going to be that. There's no real way to scale the Poison Creeper or the Raven's damage to a point where it can do that against like actually semi-difficult content. There's just no way to do it. Because when you do that, you take too much away from the wolves, and you basically... There's just no point in playing the build at that point. The wolves just do so much more single target than the others that it's not worth compromising. So yeah, that's what it is. But the reason I'm probably not going to play this build is I played it. This character is a little bit different, but the other Druid was exactly these skills. 3 companions, Petrify, Trample, Bloodhowl. I already played this to level 100. So I'm just not that motivated to do it again, even though it's going to be way stronger and possibly meta and possibly one of the best builds. This would be a great boss killer. I think this character is going to be insane. I think this character within Petrify, because you can get Petrified duration on a 2-hander. Look at that. Petrify is like, you can get Petrify on a boss for like 20 seconds. That's 50% more damage against the boss. I think on like a twinked out character, a wolf druid, like really good gear, you can probably do about 1 billion damage a second. Maybe a little bit more. But it's like sustained damage. It's not like Bone Spirit. I know Bone Spirit can kind of spam it, but you still have like the long setup with Bone Spirit. And Bone Spirit might still be more damage than this build. But, I mean, a billion DPS is still very good. When the bosses have 8 times less health, why are you barking? So, yeah. Stormclaw. Yeah, the downside is there's no AoE. It's not like the AoE is bad. There is no AoE. Like you're gonna have Poison Creeper or whatever, but it's not gonna do significant damage. Like Poison Creeper is still gonna one-shot like Hell type, right? But it's not. If you do like pit level 100, the Poison Creeper damage is negligible. If you do pit level 100, the Raven damage is negligible. I mean, the Ravens will hit for like 1,000,000, but these will hit for 1,000,000,000. So, you know, it's like 1,000 times more damage single target. So yeah, the issue with the build is the AoE damage. There is no way to do it. There's no way to do it. If you invest in Creeper or Ravens, their AoE still sucks, and you take massive damage away from Wolves. You can't really drop an ultimate, and you have to have a Bear skill, and you have to have a Wolf skill, because it's like a huge amount of the damage from Aspect of Wild Rage. So you're just locked into this build, and that's kind of why I don't really want to play it, because I've played it already. And it's not like we're going to find this new cool tech to use like 4 different skills. That's impossible. The only thing that you might see differently is, I think, one version of the build that might be possible if you use Shred, because Shred is kind of like a movement skill. And then instead of Trample, you use Maul. So you use Maul to generate Spirit, and then you use Shred to spend Spirit. But you need to have a Wolf skill, and you need to have a Bear skill. So I'm probably going to play Necromancer. Now, I've played a lot of Necromancers, but this time it's a little bit different. And between Sorc and Necromancer, like, I've been playing PoE on a pretty clicky character for like 8 or 9 days now. And, you know, I have like nerve damage in my arm and stuff. You know, I had the surgery and stuff, so it's a lot better than before, but it's not a good idea to really push things. The Sorc build is pretty clicky. The Sorc build survives and does damage by spamming cooldowns. It's literally a piano build. I think it's a fantastic build all around. I think it's going to be one of the best builds next league, like tomorrow. But yeah, if I'm choosing between a fairly passive Necro and piano Sorc, yeah, I think I'm going with Necro. So I dropped Tyrael's Might. I'm still working on the build a little bit. I actually wanted to check a temper real quick. I want to understand why people weren't using damage to cursed. Is that because the curse uptime wasn't quite that good and it was just better to have unconditional damage? Wait, we have the tempering. Tempering recipes. Okay. So the tempers on the two-hander are twice as effective, I believe. Petrified duration 50. Yeah, okay. So I basically pick 22 attack speed or 44 double hit from skeleton mages. 44 double hit, man. I think we gotta go with that. Okay, what about offense? Bone finesse. So the unconditional damage is 45. That's pretty bad. Damage to close is actually getting nerfed. Damage to distant, I think, is quite poor. So here, damage to cursed is quite good. Summoning finesse. Summoning damage, skeleton mage damage, golem damage. Yeah, see the difference here is that they're all, like, okay. Like, none of them are bad. They're, like, literally all pretty close. I think I would take summoning damage. But I don't know, maybe skeleton mage damage is a little bit stronger even. They're really close. And, like, damage to cursed is better than summoning damage. But it's 1 out of 4. And the other 3 don't do anything. Yeah, that's pretty bad. If you're gonna, like, brick an item attempting that, that's pretty bad. Maybe you go for this, like, a couple times, and then if you fail, you do summoning finesse. Chain lightning, and then swap to meteor. So the best Sorc build for leveling used to be Firewall, and Firewall is the most buffed skill on Sorc. Next to Hydra, which you also use in the Firewall build. So you almost certainly level Firewall Hydra. You might level Chain Lightning for a short while because apparently like the rewards from the new like rep mechanic thing, they announced that it will be lightning based. So you might have like a dumpster fire level 30 character, and then you turn in your quest reward, and then it's like, here's a full set of chain lightning gear. Okay, then you can play fucking chain lightning for a while. Right? There is gonna be that if you want. But yeah, if you are going to have like normal drops where you're going to get some of the aspects that you're looking for, you're not going to be fed an entire set of of chain lightning from the mechanic. Most likely Firewall is the way. Why is curse damage better aside from the value? What do you mean aside from the value? Yes, it's bigger. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Give me a second here. Firebolt, Firewall. 50% from one, 50% from the other. So the summoning damage is 55% the max roll. And the damage to cursed is 65%. And damage to cursed, I think the reason it's higher is because before you would have to use the curse on the enemy monster. But I changed some things around and I want to use the curse aura. So with the curse aura, you won't have to do that. It's an auto curse. Yeah, they're in the same bucket. Okay, this is the one that I'm working on right now. So I think I will actually do damage to cursed. Damage to cursed golem, damage to curse. Damage to curse. Hellbent, amplify, int. Movement speed, Skeleton warrior, skeleton mage, golem. Cursed. Fallen damage. And we are not going crit. We're still going to crit. We still get like 30% chance to crit. But we're not like actively pursuing crit. Okay. Damage to cursed, damage to cursed, damage to cursed, damage to cursed. Chance for skeleton mage attacks to cast twice. Okay. I dropped Ring of Mendeln. I think the proc is not going to be significant because the proc is essentially going to have the same scaling mechanism as the Shade Mist. So we just won't really need it. And the Ring of Mendeln otherwise just wasn't super good, except for the fact that it gave Golem skill levels. And the Golem skill levels, previously I was using Tyrael's Might. The issue with that setup is if I use Tyrael's Might, if I drop Ring of Mendeln, I lose a lot of damage because I don't have any bonus to Golem skill levels. So here's what I've done. I dropped both. And dropping both makes sense damage-wise because I can get ranks to Golem Mastery, so I don't really lose like anything from Ring of Mendeln. Ring of Mendeln actually kind of sucks in that case. But to make up for the survivability gain, I have to use the aspect of the Cursed Aura. This is a new one. So you automatically curse enemies around you with Decrepify and Iron Maiden. Curses inflict this way. Spread to surrounding targets every whatever seconds and last 4 seconds outside of the aura. It's not a big aura, and curse area does not increase the aura range. But it is pretty good. We are using the Great Feast, so we're going to have no essence. The aura is the only way that we get Decrepify. On the PTR, I was looking at a lot of VODs. They actually had not yet fixed the Reapers. When you get the Carved Flesh, it got the other bonus also. And they did not fix the Apothic aspect with the Shadow Warriors proccing Lucky Hit on Decrepify. So all the builds had like crazy CDR. But in the patch notes, they fixed both of those. So the cooldown recovery that you're going to gain from Decrepify is actually going to be quite low. And to account for that, and I did some number crunching, we are going to put Aspect of Occult Dominion on the Amulet. On top of that, I kind of need to redo the skills perhaps, but on top of that, we're probably going to run Skeleton Warrior Skirmishers. So these guys do 30% increased damage, and you can get an extra one. So with both of those things, we're going to have 15 passive minions. Which I believe is the most you can possibly have on any class. And damage-wise, this is about 15% more damage. And if you put Aspect of the Great Feast instead on the amulet, that's 15% more damage. So it's about the same damage. But I think this will make it so we don't lose quite as much from the, I was going to say nerfs, but really bug fixes. Yeah. So this is what I think I'm going to go for. Now I still have to change the build. A lot of the builds that play Necro still use Army of the Dead with like the damage aspect. I really don't like that. I'm using Godslayer Crown instead. I think that's just a better choice. Especially because I think that the Shade Mist is going to prolong through the damage window, and the new Godslayer Crown actually has really good stats. So I'm pretty happy with that setup. But there's a few things I'm not happy with. I'm not happy with the Vuln. I had Decompose in here. I don't like that, really. I have Iron Maiden. We don't really need Iron Maiden. It's kind of tricky. So, yeah. It's been kind of bothering me that I haven't really 100% fixed this build. Oh, there's another thing. There's a new defensive aspect. Chance for your minion attacks to fortify you for 3% life. On the PTR, this was 40%. It's not a lucky hit. So with 15 minions and capped attack speed, I mean you're just gonna have fortify, right? You like just existing single target, you're getting like 30% fortify per second. So I think the corpse gen fortify is just like a total waste of time at this point. It's just not doing anything. Bone Prison are extra minions. And you can get Bone Prison for like a gig of Vuln. But I don't know, I don't love that either. I actually went through, scoured the internet, and I found a build that is actually pretty similar to this one, and it was by Ponyhuff, of all people. We had different item choices and a few skill choices that are different. But he used Blighted Corpse Explosion and he manually casted it. And honestly, that's not that bad of a decision. I think that's actually a pretty good choice. He used the Shadow Blighted aspect. I disagree with that. And he used Army of the Dead with the Army of the Dead aspect. I disagree with that. But he had these nodes. And these are a lot of damage. And movement speed is really important for Necromancer. When you damage enemies with darkness skills, they take 6% increased shadow damage from you and your minions, stacking 3 times. That's 18 damage for 3 points. The issue is that you constantly have to do shadow damage for this. And this is a build that is going to be permanently at 0 essence. So the number of skills that can actually deliver shadow damage that are darkness skills, because it doesn't say shadow damage, it says darkness skills. It's actually not that many. And then you deal increased shadow damage to enemies who are slowed or chilled, and enemies who are stunned, immobilized, or frozen. Now, if we don't use Decrepify, we basically don't even activate this. So That's why I really want to go with the Curse Aura setup. %7 max life is like crazy. I still have the 30% more healing. You can use an aspect that makes your minions do shadow damage. No, that's just your skeleton warriors. So we're using Shade Mist aspect on a two-hander. The updated Shade Mist aspect is 25% of your weapon damage is applied as base damage to each minion as an aura. On the two-hander, it's 50%. 50% shadow damage of your weapon is more than the base damage of the skeleton. The golem base damage is like 75. The Shade Mist on a two-hander does like Righteous Fire damage on each minion. That's typically more than the damage it does attacking. Like, this is ridiculous. It doesn't scale with attack speed, and you can't crit with it. So it's not like, oh my god, this build does 10 times more damage than the previous patch. No, don't make that mistake. But it is really, really good. And the main issue with Necromancer is when your minions get like crowd controlled, they just don't fucking do anything. That's why people don't really like to play Necromancers, because they feel it's clunky. They're right. But Shade Mist does the damage even if they're crowd controlled, because it's like an aura. So it really solves a lot of problems. Yeah, I really like it. And yeah, we use the increased shadow damage to enemies afflicted by any curse. So the golem is still going to do, I think, majority physical damage because of its button. The mages only do shadow damage. So this is all of the mage. I think the mages are going to be half the DPS on this build. I think the breakdown is going to be like 50% mages, 30% golem, 20% warriors. And you might be thinking, bro, warriors don't do as much damage as a golem. Well, there's going to be 8 of them. And they're going to be skirmishers and have a 30% damage multiplier. And the Shade Mist does more damage than their base damage. So it's like you triple the damage of a skeleton warrior, you give it an extra 30%, and then there's 8 of them. So actually it's not bad, right? Yeah. But yeah, with that breakdown, so like half the damage is the skeleton mages, and all of their damage is shadow. 20% is the skeleton warriors, and I think like 2/3 of their damage is going to be shadow. So what does that put it as? 64. And then the golem, which is like 30% of your damage, I would say probably less than 10% of the damage will be shadow, because the golem button is not shadow. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's going to match his auto attack. Yeah. So I would say without any other edits, I think it's going to be about 70 to like 73% of your total damage is shadow. Okay, back to this. With Corpse Explosion, we are able to do like corpse consumption type of thing. But if we do that, we really should be using the Reapers to spawn corpses. I don't really want to do that. Maybe we just stick it with Decompose. And then Gloom is mostly just going to be single target. I think if you play on controllers, you should do Corpse Explosion. But if you play with mouse and keyboard, you have to actually hover your mouse over a corpse for this skill to work, which is just terrible. That's why I don't want to play Corpse Explosion. Just so we're on the same page. I don't want to play Corpse Explosion because keyboard's nerfed. Three points for 7 life on kill. We don't have barriers, so 7 life on kill is a lot. Lucky hit corpse is still going to be pretty useful. Thorns and armor. Yeah, the ring that automatically casts stuff, it just has really bad stats. That's the issue with it. I think without Bone Prison, we won't have full uptime on Vuln. And Bone Prison is extra damage. It's also extra... It's actually 8 pieces, people told me. Let me actually see. I can kind of check that, actually. The auto exploder from season 2 is great. Yeah. Oh no, it is 6. There's like a new Bone Prison, like empowered Bone Prison or something. They added the shadow damage minion aura. What? Had dropped Blood Mist. If I'm not using... I'm behind on Discord. Yeah, sorry. I was pretty focused on that. I don't want to use Army of the Dead aspect. I don't think it's worth it, and that just means I'm not going to get Army of the Dead. If I'm not crit, Bone Storm doesn't really do enough, in my opinion. The Enchanted Reap, Enhanced Reap, this is actually category 2 attack speed. It goes over the cap. Yeah, I know Bone Storm. How much armor do you need on a Necromancer? Well, here I have 70,000 armor. So it's not a very good gauge. How much armor do you typically need on a character to cap it? Like, typically speaking. I know the cap is 9,230. I mean, how much do you need on top of your basic gear? 462. That's 1,400. 1,850. 2,850. 3,400. One greater affix roll. Oh yeah. I think that's what I had on the Druid. Oh, the chest is not 925. True, true. I'm just curious if I actually need spiked armor. Is that a multiplier? Because it says X, but I don't believe it. 15X. So if I unspec these, I should lose 10,000 armor. I lost 5,000 armor. So that is a lie. It's just percent armor, regular percent armor. So probably that's not actually worth the points. Thorns doesn't really do enough. I'm trying to dig deep for points. I also have the gruesome mending for healing, but I quite like that. But I think we're going to end up playing Blood Mist here. Casting a skill that overpowers reduces the equivalent of blends by 2 seconds. Corpse every second. Crit chance. Well, if like half the damage is the aura, which can't crit, this is like 2.5% more damage with terrible uptime. Yeah, that's not worth it. 1 point Blood Mist is probably fine, just as an emergency button. So is that what I just do? Tendrils, Golem, Raise Skeleton, Decompose, Blood Mist, Bone Prison. Just don't love Decompose here. Over 6 seconds. When you damage enemies with darkness skill, they take X6 damage for 2 seconds. So I actually have to have 2 active corpse explosions to keep up Gloom. Decompose can keep up Gloom by itself, if you're wondering, because it ticks twice a second and explodes every second. Now it's a crappy channel skill, but it lets me not have to use Reapers, and Reapers are actually much worse, especially now that they nerf the crap out of them. I also saw some builds were using Blood Orbs. For each enemy trapped up to 3 seconds. And try to do it that way. Yeah, forget the corpse gen. We're not going to go ham on corpses. Pac-Man build. Yeah, they buffed the blood orb on the Paragons. I saw a few Necros, they just like go for the node. I don't know if it's updated here. Okay, yeah, that's not the one. This one. Yeah, this is updated. Blood orbs grant 10 damage multiplier up to 50% for 5 seconds. Does this like refresh the stack? So if you're constantly getting blood orbs, like if you're at 5 stacks and you get one, does it refresh all 5 stacks? Does anyone know? I never played with this. Blood orb healing, max life. Depends. Depends, huh? Oh yeah, that's the other thing. We can have much higher uptime on Flesh Eater if we use Corpse Explosion. Man, maybe we just have to fucking use Corpse Explosion. Oh, it's part of the base skill. There's a ton of blood orb shit. I'm gonna have to be near the target because of the curse aura. Yeah, it's just refreshing. That's pretty significant. Three blood orbs as it travels. What a trash skill. Is it just corpse tendrils? Just corpse tendrils won't work against the boss. Consuming a corpse, 30% chance to spawn a blood orb. Hmm. There's not that many blood orbs. Consuming a corpse is not much. It's also a defensive aspect, which I don't have space for. Oh, I'm at -1. Did I screw something up? Like, it's not worth it to have blood orb generation, and I have to spam corpses to get them, and then I have to drop, like, Godslayer Crown, which just gives me 60 damage. Lucky hit on the tree. That's with blood skills, though, isn't it? Blood skills have a chance to create a blood orb. Yeah, that's not good. How much healing do I get from willpower? 40. Okay, so yeah, I guess those points are not that crazy. Corpse Tendrils has 35% chance to drop a blood orb when damaging enemies. I just don't see that being that reliable. Like, these nodes are pretty good. Like, this is pretty good. I don't think I'd get this one. Yeah, that one sucks anyway. You'd find a glyph that works well on this side. So you'll approach from the bottom. Probably go through there. Hit that, the glyph socket. This is max life. Fantastic. And then you'd go here, get this, and... Well, that one's bad. Is that one bad too? Yes, that is also bad. Okay, but like, even if you do that, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points. Oh man, 11 points. That's insane. I feel like even if I slotted the aspect to spam corpse explosion, corpse usage, even then it won't have like that good uptime. I do not love it. I mean, I guess at this point, if I use Corpse Explosion, it would just replace Bone Prison. Or I'd replace Decompose. I'd replace Decompose. It does mean lower Vuln uptime. And it does mean that I have to use the Reapers. But it does mean that I'm consuming more corpses, so I can have higher uptime on the corpse damage bonus. It's a really tough call. I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break. Think about it. You're back. Okay, there is something that I thought of. Okay, sometimes a little bit of time is good. I bet the channeled skill doesn't care about my attack speed. Which means I can invest 0 into attack speed. Which is quite favorable, because that's what I was planning on doing anyway. Seems like there's a bit of a delay. What if I have a wand? No, the delay is the same. It has smart targeting, but Not that smart. The delay is the same though. That's actually correct. The delay is the same. I just have to hit like for a second to get the bonus, right? Yeah. Increase damage per stack. Oh, that's the Vuln. How big is the area on this? Not super big, but we do have 2 pull effects. Okay. And we'd really only do that against a single target. I think this is the setup I'm gonna do. There's just something about having the maximum amount of minions possible in the game that I just really like. I just like that. I like that idea. Yeah. I'm gonna do Decompose. We have Blood Mist for an emergency. We have Bone Prison, Corpse Tendrils, Automatic Curse. We're spec'd into both curses for 7% life on kill effectively. Cooldown reduction. We get stuns from Decrepify. We get stuns from that. For 11 points, I do not think I'm gonna go for Blood Orbs. Terror will be active all the time. But for Gloom to work, I literally need to be channeling. Which kind of sucks. But it's not that much better for Corpse Explosion. I have to pull 3 points from something else. And I have to have 2 going in order to have the Gloom, because Corpse Explosion is 1 tick per second. It's not 2 ticks per second like most damage over time effects. So that's also really annoying, right? There's no escape from tediousness. I think I'll keep Hued Flesh because the damage on Decompose is completely irrelevant. Decompose slows. When Decompose explodes, you get plus 30 movement speed for 8 seconds. Holy crap. Vuln for 4? When did this get so good? You do Helltide at the start? We'll get into that in a little bit here. I'm just gonna do whatever Rax does, honestly. I feel like Rax has the best leveling guides, even though they're not actually, like, the best. It's like they're just so much more practical. They're like, go do stuff in this area, go do stuff in that area. Some of the other, like, maximum speed leveling guides are like, go to the stronghold for like these 2 levels and like tickle the balls of this crap monster that gives a little bit of extra experience between levels 38 and 36. Like, fuck that. Yeah, and I think Rax is like, I think it's generally Helltide into Nightmare Dungeons. I think I can do Bone Storm over Bone Prison. The question is, do I want to? I think the answer is no. Okay. So I am using Corporeal Glyph. About 70% of the damage is not physical. So the additional bonus is not very good. The bonus to magic nodes is not very good. But this is a build with 15 passive minions. And with Bone Prison up, 21 minions. And this doesn't have a cap. So it's like 20 move speed. And like 3% damage. Which I think is actually okay. I don't love the slot, though. The slot is pretty poor. But we probably will utilize some of the armor. Speaking of which, I think I actually have to change one of these. Chest, yes. Total armor. One armor roll. I'm gonna try pushing Pit or Infernal Hordes. I have no idea. Let's not pretend that anyone has any idea. Hits are not that fun, in my opinion, to farm them as much as people had, but we'll see. Fueled by Death. I think the Priest lasts 8 seconds, so we just have to do the Priest every 6. Nothing else really there. Okay, so if we have Kalan's Edict or 45% attack speed, we have attack speed on the 2 rings. And that's it. How much is on Paragons? Let me just check in-game. Paragon attack speed. Wait, what? Ah. 2.5, 2.5, 5. So 10 attack speed. Bro, there's no fucking way people are capping attack speed without Kalan's Edict. They're definitely sacrificing something. Yeah, there's absolutely no shot that they're able to do that. So we have 45 from Kalan's, 55 from the passive. So we need another 45% attack speed. Can we get it with 2 rolls on rings? I mean, it's possible, but it's not very likely. I think we need attack speed on gloves. See, we can get attack speed on the 2-hander, but I don't think it's worth it. Because we get like 50% chance to double the attack of our shadow mages, which are like half the damage that we deal. That's effectively a multiplier. Like, people that are going Shadow Blight, not only do they need to slot Blighted Aspect, which has huge competition now, but yeah, they have to go for minion attack speed on their 2-hander. So they just lose another multiplier. There's no way that Shadow Blight is the way to go anymore. There's just no way. but I was mistaken. It looks like we will need attack speed on gloves. Or we go for like giga greater attack speed on rings. That's probably not going to happen though. Let's be honest. That's probably not going to happen. Especially because we want the Skeleton Mage Mastery stack on the gloves. Yeah. We actually probably want an attack speed roll. Frenzy Dead. Frenzy Dead is also another aspect. Bro, look at the aspects on this build. Okay. So the utility ones are too good. So don't pay attention to the fact that we have a utility on the amulet. I did the math. The extra minions actually do more than if we have Aspect of the Great Feast on the amulet. So, and that's the best aspect. Best aspect. It's better than the best aspect for this build particularly. So that's insane. Aspect of the Damned, 50% increased shadow damage to enemies affected by any curse. That's insane. So I did the math again. 70 to 70 something % of the damage is shadow. So this is 35, 36 damage multi. This is 45. This thing is like 20, but it's a utility and gives you constant healing. This is a 40. And we're using Godslayer Crown, which I believe will have much higher uptime because the Shade Mist lasts for 5 seconds. So Frenzy Dead goes where? Right? Like, yeah, we can cap attack speed with Frenzy Dead. Instead of what? Right? How do we cast Decrepify? So I change it to use Aspect of the Cursed Aura. It's a new aspect, and you automatically cast both curses in an aura around you that is like a plague that spreads between enemies a little bit further away. The reason I do that is it's the only way to do Decrepify while using Aspect of the Great Feast. And because it's the only way to do Decrepify, it's kind of like 20 DR, right? And it enables curse mechanics. It's basically, it's better than I realized. I ended up taking out Tyrael's Might. I think if you use Tyrael's Might, you have to use Ring of Mendeln. I'm not 100% sure that that's actually worse than this setup. I think it might be better than this setup. But if you use Ring of Mendeln and Tyrael's Might, that's like a pretty endgame thing. So a lot of things will kind of be figured out at that point. Yeah. No, I'm actually happy with the skill tree, and I was not happy with the skill tree until like this very fucking moment. I don't know why I had a -1. Did I like screw up or something? I don't want to like screw up the save state. Damn, I have 225. What did I screw up? Oh. That's stupid. Okay. Yeah, I was just checking the skill note if it was updated. I have the Golem attack speed, but the Golem doesn't really use attack speed very well. Because we really need to cap all of our minions. All of our minions are doing damage. So the Golem attack speed doesn't do anything. So this is 50 Golem damage, and this is 8.5. 58.5 golem damage in 4 nodes. Is that worth it? Yeah. I guess it is, actually. I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I have 6 points there. Life, life, life. We are gonna need some armor, so that's fine. I saw a lot of builds don't go crazy for the willpower here. But if I had access to another glyph, I honestly don't know what I would use. Consuming 5 corpses grants 40x increased damage for 6 seconds. That's going to have a little bit less uptime than normal, but it should still be quite good. We are not using Tyrael's Might, so the resists are actually good. I had a setup where I didn't get that, but now it's actually worth it. Actually, oh no, that's armor. What other glyph would do anything? Abyssal. So non-physical damage would be about 7% multi. The problem is that the initial bonus is complete garbage. Non-physical, 75% bonus, so bad. It only works in the shadow board. You can get extra shadow resistance. Blood orbs fortify. I'm not a big fan of the control glyph. I don't think we're gonna have a problem against, like, packs of monsters. The darkness glyph is good, but it's a defensive glyph. While standing in your desecrated ground, you deal 20% X shadow damage. So I looked it up, and unless there's something new, these are all aspects, right? There's no skill that does desecrated ground, is there? Sorc sees a lot of uniques, druids too. Necros, not that much. Why Skeleton Warrior 1 instead of Reapers? They do more damage. Just give me a second, I'll explain. When you overpower an enemy, all damage they take from you and your minions is increased by 12%. That'd be a bit hard. Crit strikes. I think half our damage will be damage over time. It won't be able to crit. And that's why we're not stacking crit chance. It's still decent, though. Healthy is over 85. Oh, it's only critical strikes, though. We don't have a 100% crit chance. Fortify. Gravekeeper is pretty good. 3 increased damage, up to 18% for every close corpse. Do I have this one on my current Necro? Exploit, Golem, Amplify, Dead Razor, Gravekeeper. What's happening? $30,000. Holy shit. That's a pretty big range. Oh, fuck. Oh, damn. I have to redo the build. That glyph is insane. That's not close at all. That's hitting these. This is close for Gravekeeper. That's close? That's more than half the screen. How the fuck is that close? This is like the bullshit we had in PoE, where it said nearby, and nearby was different for every single skill. That is a massive range for close. I have to redo the build. I literally never bothered to check that before. We are 100% going for Reapers now. If we're going for Reapers... we're gonna go for Corpse Explosion. Now I can still keep Decompose. Do I want to? Is it on the screen? Yep, it's close. Would I really use Decompose if I have to Corpse Explosion? Honestly, probably not. But where the hell do I get the points? Okay, 1 point. Vulnerable for 3. Golem damage. This is just so much crit. Even if you're not crit, you have to get those points. Abhorrent Iron Maiden. So we get a curse aura that spreads, that applies both curses, and scythes lose life on kill. 7%. This is gonna be on every single thing that dies. Right now, my Necro has 40% healing effect from willpower. So it's like 10 to 11% life on kill. 10 to 11% life on kill is an enormous amount. It's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, so I'm just like not going to get hit and use a potion. But no, actually, you know, it has a lot of value. Close enemies take more damage from you. Well, we just found out that close is an enormous distance. Doesn't help one-shots. It is 3 points. This doesn't do anything, this doesn't do anything. Death's approach? No chance, dude. No chance. Fine. We will still have the passive healing, so I can get a point in gruesome mending. Kind of forgot how I have my skills set up. I usually have a long cooldown there. How bad is it to have Bone Prison on that click? Bad. Okay, we can't do that. Wasn't close the size of the waypoint? I mean, I just showed you what it was. It might be the size of the waypoint, but it might be like edge of the hitbox to edge of the hitbox, so it ends up being massive. Barrier Bone Storm gonna be broken. Yeah, it's annoying, and you have to invest a lot for barriers. But yes, you're right, yes. Just get all the different skills. I won't have to curse. Golem, raise skeleton. Corpse tendrils is probably the most important thing that I have to do. Put the movement skill there. Corpse explosion on left click is a no-go. Maybe something like this. Wow, that's so fast. That is really good. Yeah, I use the keyboard. I try to offload every major clicking thing to the left hand because my right hand has nerve damage. Let me actually Golem. Skeleton. Tendrils. Corpse explosion. Blood mist. Save build. We have to redo Paragons. This might take a while. Okay. Wait, I just thought of something. With at least 2 corpses, you gain 15 damage reduction. With no corpses, you deal X 15. Is that fucking our results? How is it still 30,000? 30,482. With no corpses nearby, you deal 15x damage. 30,004. Okay. 34,000. Oh, okay. So that works. So then it goes down. Oh my god. That's how far it is? What the fuck? Boom, no damage. That's nearby? I can barely see that. Exploit found? No, that's terrible. Basically, you are never getting Scent of Death. Never. The damage bonus is fictitious. The damage reduction is still probably worth it, because like 15 DR for barely any points, it's fine, but you're not getting that damage bonus. You're just not getting that damage bonus. And then as we approach, the other one starts to kick in, 18. Yeah. And that's still like that's still really close. Yeah. Yeah. No, this is the way to make the build. Okay. Let's see what we can do. So if I want to keep all my glyphs, let's just take a quick look at our glyphs. This thing is going to be 14 movement speed. And now that we're using Reapers, the shadow damage is probably going to be closer to 65. So it's going to be like 3 to 4 more damage and 14 move speed. Getting better. It's not amazing, but I really want the movement speed. Since we have corpses, we're going to drop the 1 point for damage reduction. It's 10 DR for the minions, but who gives a shit if they die? We have corpses now. So this is 50, 58.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's like 5 damage per point, and minion resists the start. Yeah, that's kind of good still. Damage if golem is active. I don't have to get that. Down here is 6. This is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's 1 extra point. $25 global damage, 6 armor for 3 points. Yeah, that's worth it. This pathing is actually pretty great. Looks a little nicer. We don't need golem armor. Magic nodes in range is just the golem damage. It's actually pretty trash. But there's not really, like, what is this? Damage to elites and willpower? That's like, somehow that's worse. So... doesn't really matter. Int 2. These are pretty sketch. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's 1, 5 points for... yeah, it's not 4 points, it's 5 points. For 60 golem damage. That's pretty good too, actually. We can cut a lot of golem damage, but that's not ideal. Scent of Death is still pretty good DR. That is 10% max life. So it's like 5 DR for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Ooh. Okay, yeah, I don't know about that. That sounds less good. There's no way we hit that second bonus, is there? Damage to elites, all resists. Two, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we actually do hit the bonus. Oh. So it's like 10 DR then. No, I stand corrected. 10 DR and 3 out of the 4 wasted nodes are int. That's actually pretty good also. Vuln damage should work. Damage to enemies affected by damage over time does work. Golem does significant damage. The amplified glyph is pretty bad. But they're all bad in that slot. I can't save it. Injured armor. Eight elites. It has 3 8 elites. Actually, probably better there. This has 3 8 golem damage. Yeah, that is better there. Okay, so we can put amp here. And Scourge got flipped. Ah! They fixed that. Very nice. So this will not buff the magic nodes. Actually, wait. This one's even worse! Oh, actually it's not. It's 3 10 damage nodes and armor. No, that one is not worse. The golem one is the worst one. Okay. Let's work backwards. Let's pretend we have a lot of points. How many do we actually need? The glyph in question is... Gravekeeper. Wait, no, it's not. Gravekeeper goes here. Bonus to rare nodes. Because we need the armor. Much stronger. Don't even bother getting that. Don't need to get that. Super efficient. Yep. I remember that from the previous build. Okay, so the glyph that we actually want is corporeal. Actually, it's not. It's probably Scourge, or we don't give a fuck about anything. Corporeal would go there. So it is Scourge. Let's see how this looks. So it's 40 int. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That doesn't look so bad. Int, willpower, strength. Int, overpower, dexterity, damage after picking up blood orb. 20. Dexterity, overpower, dexterity, overpower. Strength, willpower. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yep. Minus 21. It's actually a good glyph, though. We get the full damage multi, and the percent multi is going to work. I think our shadow damage over time is probably going to be almost half our damage. So it's like 40 damage percent and 10 multi. That's a great glyph. We should see if we can put this in. Okay, so this is minus 21. What is this? Blood begets blood. Okay, delete. Wait, how am I at minus 3? Oh, because I pathed all the way down. Right. Okay. Bloodbath. Where is it? Darkness. No. Scourge. Yes. Oh, this one looks pretty good. This one looks incredibly good. I actually don't know if I've seen anything quite as good as that. Oh. Well, we don't have enough int, so... Damage while fortified. Wait, that actually does something. Healing received? Wow. This is really good. It's minus 20. And both of the effects actually work. Huh. How many int nodes am I passing through there? 3. Minus 20. Let's try this pathing. Minus 21. It's not as good. Minus 20. Now, I could drop 6 healing received. Oh no, that's 15 int. I'd have to drop this one. Damage while fortified. I think damage while fortified might work on your minions now. But it might not. And it's not full uptime. It's only 15 damage. It would save us a point to do that. Yeah, 40. We also might have some flexibility here. Int. Is this good? Yeah, actually. There's only 4 life nodes. That's not that good. We're at minus 19. Dexterity instead of willpower. That's a little bit better. I can do strength instead of dexterity. That's not better. Okay, I'm going to save that so I don't have to do it over again. That was Bloodbath. Minus 19. Okay, Wither. Scourge. Oof. This looks rough. Has to be this area. Oh, it's shadow damage though. That looks kind of gnarly. It's 2 extra points. We do get you get 20 shadow damage. But shadow damage again, it's maybe like 60% of our damage. For 2 points. That's not really worth it. The other one had heating effect too, which actually does something. I really doubt the other side is better, but we're here. Oh no, the normal node bug. No, we must lose it. No normal node. Oh god. Whatever, I can save. Okay, don't copy the Paragon yet. God, it needs so much. You literally have to go to the other side anyway for it. Oh, there's something this thing doesn't like. It's also minus 21. I don't think there's any way to improve this. I'm just gonna F5 just a second. Boulder Cataclysm looks fun. Yeah, it probably is. Okay, so there's a clear winner. Bloodbath. Which one is Bloodbath? Overpower damage. Okay. Good. damage. Okay. Minus 19. Alright guys, it's time for some cuts. I just save that for now. So that is minimum. Life and all resists. No way I'm cutting that. Skeleton mage damage. Probably worth it. 5 minion damage. Now, if I have to cut 19 5 minion damage, that's like 100 damage. That's going to be like 10 multi. Does that glyph give me more than 10 multi? It probably gives me around 10 multi. But I get all the attributes on the way, I get the healing effect, so it's still worth it to cut 5% nodes. So let's cut some 5% nodes. Now that would mean that these are 5% nodes also. And it would mean that these are 5% nodes also. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still 40. Nice. One, two, three, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still 40, but I gained golem armor. Do we need golem armor? We do not need golem armor. Life shadow resist nearby. Okay, these willpower nodes are 20 golem damage a pop. Are there any that are too deep? Oh, 30 over willpower. Who's this noob making this build? Those are the blue willpowers. Damage to injured. It's not horrible. I will want the armor. That's kind of iffy. Int. Like, that's not that good of a node. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2. So that's a 2-point willpower node. So we can cut that. There's also something here that's possible. Damage to injured, strength, willpower, int. It's just the strength is nothing. And 5 int is something. Like they're buffing int. 5 int is like the old 6.2 int or some shit like that. So honestly, that is debatable also. Okay, we're at -3. Damaged, injured is 35 or less, right? That's like 4 global damage. Yeah, honestly, this is comparable. That point is barely worth it. Okay. Here we have the magic nodes effects, so these are fairly large values. Two, three, 4, 5, 6. 6 is pretty optimal. Three. Yeah, that part up there is really rough. -3, man. There's gotta be something to cut. We're so close. Alternatively, we lose like the 10 DR there. But man, I kind of like 10 DR. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 points, 10 DR. 8 points, 10 DR. No, man. No. 8 points, 10 DR is solid. I refuse. Those blue nodes are actually really good. .200 armor, 10 int. 5 willpower. 50 damage to injured, which is like nothing. Oh, but the willpowers are there, yeah. It's still 6. That's only 8 life. Six points for 8 life. That's like less worth it, but I have to find a different way to connect. And honestly, I'm not sure there is a better one. Like that is bad. That is obviously bad. Yeah, I don't think we have a choice on that. Let me just save, because this looks really good. We're very close to making this work. I actually didn't realize I could potentially fit another entire glyph. I did not realize I could do that. Well, to be fair, right now we can't do that. We haven't done that yet. We're still working on that. An entire glyph has not been fit. We are still short 3 points. 20 golem damage, 1 point. Eight to connect from there. That's way too much. I think we got to look at cutting something a bit more serious, because there is nothing obvious left to cut. This is what I was eyeing. 10 int, 200 armor, 5 willpower, but I wouldn't cut the 5 willpower. I don't really want to cut that either. We're gonna need the armor. Is approaching from the other side any better? Can already see that it's not, because it's mirrored. From the front, no way. From there, I've checked that before. Damn, man. How do we cut 3? I guess we have a really fucking good Paragon setup. If I just cannot find 3 points to cut. These are like 30 damage with everything. Those are like crazy. Damage 200. Greedy. Where do we cut, man? Where do we cut? One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just literally 2 points, right? It's free. Approaching from the top. Oh, that's just more points. Those are max efficiency. This is also really good for int. How's willpower on some of these? Oh, 39 max. One has 44. magic nodes. I would lose that. I mean, that currently is at 44. How's the willpower here? It's around this node, so that's actually bad. Remove resist and get it from elixir? Yeah, I don't do that kind of shit. I think we have to remove a little golem damage. It's like a bad node. This is int. Then it's 10 int, 50 damage, willpower, willpower. It'd be like that, basically. But then, like, single point, I have to do single point. It's a single point for 20 golem damage. I mean, that's kind of like 8 total. Not that insane. God, no, it's so good, though. 10 int, 250 armor? Oh, I'm going insane. Where the fuck do I get 3 points? Yeah, but there's nowhere to cut 10 int, so that doesn't help. I think we're at 45 int now, but I can't remove it from anywhere. That armor is 1 skull in jewelry. Yeah, but it's just really efficient points. Landslide, lightning storm. Yeah. Man, that has armor too. If it's all good, it doesn't matter where you cut it, yeah. It's just one of those things where usually if I like focus and optimize and move things around again and again and again, I always figure something out. Because we're at -3. I'll be honest, when I started doing this, I expected to have to cut huge parts of the board. I didn't expect to even come close. But we came really close, and then I optimized some things, and we're 3 fucking points away. It's actually ridiculously close. But it's not there yet. Remove the damage nodes? Nah, it's increase effect of rare nodes. I cannot do that. It's a lot of armor and a lot of int. You have to keep in mind, int is better than it used to be. The most realistic cut is there. I can gain an int node also. These points are really good, but if I cut them, I get 5 points back, which means I can actually reclaim some damage. That. We just lost 10 DR though. We lost 10 DR for probably 20 damage. So it's still worth it, I think. But that makes me sad. Those were so good. Actually, if we don't get those... 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3... 1. So it's 7. Yeah, 7's still pretty efficient. I should maybe double check that one though. Let me save. So it's exploit here. Do I need to keep going? Actually, it's not that bad, but this is a 2-pointer. Gotta resist. I mean, it is actually bad. That's not. That was Wither, I think. This is not possible. This is like the endpoint style. Yeah, no. That is optimized. Well, there it is, boys. Insanely optimized Necro for Season 5. So we are going to have to run Reapers. We are going to have to run Corpse Explosion. On one hand, it's a little bit better because we don't have to use the Decompose. Blood Golem. We are still going to use the extra stuff. We're going to be a little bit less reliant on Skeleton Warriors. Skeleton Warrior Mastery. This would effectively go to 3. So it's 30% more damage with Skeleton Warriors. Skeleton Warriors are probably down like 15%. So the Skeleton Warrior Mastery is pretty comparable with life. Like 5% damage for 5% life type of thing. So you don't really need that. It might be nice though, because it also gives them health multiplier. Yeah, it might be nice to get that. I'd probably go for it. We'll fortify with the new aspect. I think that's a good choice. Corpse tendril size. Corpse tendril size. Freeze, freeze. Okay. Double check skill tree. Is there like anything to get? Not really. You can just keep decompose, I guess. Vuln uptime is super important. Corpse explosion, blood mist, bone prison, fueled by death. Specking abhorrent decrepify seems a bit too difficult. I do want to try to cap armor from other means, because 10 healing is good. This is a good node. Golem, crit damage. Yeah, this is it. There's no way to make this any better. Okay. Oh, it is getting late. I'm looking at Rax's spreadsheet. I got the spreadsheet of all the guys. I have Rob's spreadsheet too. Alright, so first you make a character on World Tier 2. Then you form 3 groups of 4 players and join Discord. Okay, Rob. You do you, okay? I'm gonna do me. Alright. campaign. Do seasonal quest line. I saw in like a few posts that this seasonal quest line in particular gives you XP multipliers as rewards or something like that. I'm not really sure how that works. I wasn't able to do the PTR, but apparently the seasonal quest line is like extra important. Helltide is the best way to level because of EXP, loot, materials, and gold. Do every event you see. Skip the final bosses if they take over a minute to kill. Follow others, team up, turn in cinders in the last 20 minutes because they scale with your level. EXP for free. That's a good tip. For trap events, stay in the ring as long as possible for more XP. Always do Legion events within Helltide. I mean, obviously. Full set of Whispers within the Helltide for extra XP. Obviously, In the 5 minutes of downtime, salvage your gear, turn in Whispers, run dungeons for Codex powers that you need. Okay. Always wear an elixir for extra XP. I always fuck that one up. New XP dungeons from the questline that are supposed to drop great loot. They could be better than Helltide, but probably won't be. At level 15, do the class quest. Necro 25. $16 to 45, same strat. 45? Yeah, 35. 45? What do you mean giga-chats? Bro, Rax is dishing some greasy compliments, okay? Everyone should do the capstone at 35. I did the capstone at level 30 on my first hardcore character this season. And it wasn't hard. You just crush it now. Before capstone, temper and reroll your gear. This is very important. $45 to 60 chain clear nightmare dungeons. World tier 4 at 55 to get ancestrals. You can do it at like level 52. You'll get like a level or two doing it. And it's not like you enter world tier 4 and gear is showering in front of you. You still have to kill stuff. So you can actually do this at like level 50, 52, 53 is just fine. You need like fire resist though, both for Elias's trash and Helltide on world tier 4. If you have like negative double-digit fire resist, you're in for some pain. Okay, so yeah, maybe fix like fire resist elixir or something. Level 60 to 100, clear nightmare dungeons. Really? Curator will drop a sigil, complete nightmare dungeon quests in Kyovashad at the occultist. If you're new and don't have renown completed yet, finish it before going to world tier 4. Follow the seasonal nightmare dungeon tier list. Salvage all the D tier ones. Focus on the dungeon events as they pay the most XP by far. Yeah, that's true. Oh, he even has the fire resistance for Elias. Nice. So I don't know how well you're going to end up geared if you do 60 to 100 in Nightmare Dungeons. That's the only criticism I have for this. Like, I don't know what the season journey crap is like next season, but it has to do with like the new mechanic, right? So if you just do this, you're gonna have like no reputation buildup with the seasonal mechanic. I don't know what that means. I don't know if anyone knows what that means, but possibly that would, like, you know, if we go back to the Seneschal, that would mean that you have a shitty ass pet running around because you just chose to level real fast in Nightmare Dungeons, right? So maybe that's not great. Yeah. After level 100, after you cleared Nightmare Dungeon 45, go to the pit for masterworking and Uber boss mats. Okay, I do need a refresher. If you want 925 loot, what level is that again? What level is 925? Is it like level 90 monsters? Like what nightmare dungeon level is that? Is really my question. All items dropped from level 95 are eye level 925, including the Obol vendor. Monster level 95, Nightmare 41. Okay.
Not while I'm in town.
Oh, that just drops them. See, I'm a little rusty right now. I haven't actually played, but there's actually no time to do a test run. Maybe I'll make a new character and just screw around like 20 levels. Craft sigils. So to craft one is 275. We get a 41? We did. 41, please. All monsters above level 144. Nightmare Dungeon tier 90 plus. No, that's old. This is Nightmare Dungeon 41, and these are 95. This character might not look very good. 907 scammed. No, but I think it's just the rares and stuff. This is my 100% AFK character. It can't die either. It heals by itself also. It's not based on golem cooldown. It's a Mendeln build. Is it hardcore? No, I have to play too much. 912. Is it just legendaries that are 925? Oh, Butcher's so bad for minions. I guess it's just low level at this point. It's pretty destroyed. Legendary, 925. The rares are not, though, but that's fine. Okay, so monster level 95. Okay. In Helltide, you can use 3 brains now, right? What's the minimum level in Helltide? Isn't it 75? So if you use 2 brains in Helltide, you're guaranteed 925. If you go there at any level. Okay. And the dog, do I have to activate the dog on a new character? The brain stack? In Season 5 they do, yeah. Seasonal. Oh, skip campaign. World Tier 2. World Tier 2 is for experts, guys. Experts. Dude, did I just make Eminem? Do I have a pet? How can I check if I have a pet? Do I have to get my pet, like, first thing? Pets. Okay, so on a new character, the first thing you do is activate a pet. Now I have a pet. Hello, pet. My first minion. It's in your closet, yep. Wait, that's the boss in the other thing. That boss doesn't exist anymore. 10 points at level 1. I think we go Blood Surge. With the guaranteed overpower. And then what we do is Thorns and Skeleton Warriors. Oh yeah. Thorns at low levels actually insane. Okay, after Thorns, what do we do? We use the Curse, Iron Maiden. Probably like, what the fuck? So Iron Maiden is the best way to heal and get essence early on. I should just flip those. Minions are just trashing the place. Oh, there's a guy here. Okay. I should also pick up loot. Okay. Iron Maiden. Actually, the heal probably is not going to matter this early. 7% is just nothing. Just going to potion any kind of damage. Probably do want to try to get a weapon early. Probably will get like a reward from the seasonal thing. Frostburn. There's just so many good gloves. I don't think Frostburn is very good personally. after that, we probably go like movement speed. So we're like less shitty and slow. Where are my weapons? Oh, there's a weapon. Okay, I think we unlock the dudes pretty early. Go with one extra. Have to recast them though. When do we get the mages? 15. Until we get the mages, we don't really need the mage mastery. Just go finish the movement. Practice? I'm just trying to like, you know, I just haven't played in a few months, so I'm trying to like get rid of that rust, you know, de-rusting. De-rusting. Okay, is there anything we care for here? Not particularly. The ultimate's also not really. So... do we want maybe... Corpse Explosion? We probably want to put more points into like the actual Nova. Dude, Helltide gets crazy fast. Might be a good idea to get Corpse Explosion, actually. A shiv. Yes, please. Folio, Claymore, very nice. Finally a two-hander. Okay. What is the best way to level? Do we just like put some more points in Blood Surge? I don't know. It's a big part of the damage, but not for that long. Mages are going to take over pretty soon. Golem starts to take over. Fueled by Death is fairly weak. More damage from you, deal less damage to you. That's pretty good. Damage to Curse, also pretty good. 4 damage with everything. I think damage to Curse is probably the next best. Okay, so you said do events. Do events, but we want to like stall them out, I guess. Just to like kill mobs. Doesn't seem very good. Get Reapers at 12. I don't think Reapers beat Skirmishers. I don't know, man. This seemed pretty shit. Is Rax trolling me? I think I was better off just, like, going literally anywhere. I think if I went anywhere, I would have got more experience than if I stayed at that event. Maybe that specific event is just bad. That could be. Let's test it. I can't. They just killed the Helltide. The Helltide specific ones are worth it. I think in Rack's spreadsheet it was something like the ones where you have to kill the end boss is not worth it. Am I not making a burning build? I'm making the Shadow Righteous Fire build. Minions, come on. Like, that XP was about the same as the entire prior event. Except I did it in, like, 3 times less time. Skip the boss, do the mini events, Doomsayers. Okay. Now, last season we got no extra character slots. Are we getting extra character slots on this one? Damn, how many Ds are there? I think it's 6. Okay. You generally delete your characters every season. Man, these guys are amateurs. I thought Blizzard was like, you know, sometimes there's some bugs, sometimes the patches are a little slow, but the monetization on point, right? So, like, what's the deal? You know what they do in PoE? You can have as many characters as you want. You just have to pay for character slots after, like, 10. You know how many character slots I have? I don't even know. It's a big number. It's like half of everything I've spent in that game is character slots. The fuck is this? Let me have more. Jesus. Okay. One more thing, I want to kind of just run the numbers, like, for the lulls. So, because we're using the shittier warriors, I'm expecting the Shade Mist to do about half the damage now, instead of like 60-something%. So if Shade Mist is doing half the damage that I deal, and it's not always going to be half. Like when you get all your minions frozen and shit, it's all the damage that you're dealing. But if it's like single target boss and your mages are far from the boss, then it's probably less than half. So it is a guess. But let's just say it is half. Is it worth it to have that on the two-hander? Because if this is half of my damage, and I lose half of that, I basically lose a quarter of my damage. So my starting point is 75. Now, my best aspect is Great Feast, 45%. So if we put that on the two-hander, we go 190 divided by 145. That's a 30% increase in damage. If we go and multiply 75% by 31, we are at 98. So it's pretty similar. It's pretty similar. You can use Great Feast on your two-hander, and you can use Shade Mist elsewhere. There is another case scenario. We can put it on the amulet. Now, if we drop this from our amulet, we lose 15% damage. So okay. So we'll gain 31, putting that there. So 1.31. We'll lose 15, so divided by 1.15. And then Shade Mist, instead of losing half of the damage, we'd only be losing a quarter of the effect. So we would lose 12.5% times 0.875. And that's 99.6. It's almost identical. Meaning that if you want more raw damage, you can put Shade Mist on the amulet. Shade Mist on the amulet is better than Shade Mist not on the amulet. But none of it goes over 1. This is with the assumption that Shade Mist is half of the damage that we deal. Which might be wrong. So Shade Mist is 25% of your weapon as an aura. But on a two-hander, it's 50% of your weapon. Just so we're on the same page, though, like 50% weapon damage for one minion is very strong. We can't tell exactly how much the minions do, the skeletons, because they bundle up both skeletons and the skeleton skill. Maybe it shows them when you don't have mages at all. Like here it doesn't. Is there like a detailed? No, there's no detailed tooltips. But yeah, if you see the golem, this is an unspec'd character. So the golem does 77%. This is with nothing. Absolutely no skills, no Paragon. 77%. So Shade Mist for the golem is 50%. Per damage over time per second as an aura. Huge, right? Like, it's at least a third of its damage. And if you're thinking it's like, well, a third of its damage, you said half. Yeah, but like, the skeleton warriors, they don't even do 50%. They do like 20. So when you take like 20% and give them a 50% aura, you like triple their damage. And it's pretty similar for the skeleton mages also. It is interesting, though, to potentially put it on the amulet. If it does half your damage on the amulet, it's almost exactly the same. If it does less than half your damage, like anything less, then it's better on the amulet. It's a real guessing game. It's really tough to say. I think for bossing, it's less than half. So maybe it is best on an amulet. I don't think I'm going to change it on the guide, though. It looks really close. I think I'll perhaps change it on the guide after I play a little bit. But it looks like Shade Mist on the amulet might be ideal.